And we're going to go ahead and get started. As I mentioned, this is new to SWAAAC. We got your back. And if you haven't yet signed in, that QR code that you're seeing on the slide, this first slide, will jump you right to that form. It'll take you 10 seconds. It's super important because, one, it will generate your certificate of attendance, but also because the Colorado Department of Education is pretty interested in knowing how and whom is attending professional development. So you're representing not only your own attendance, but also the attendance for your district. So 10 seconds, it's like 6 questions, some of our drop downs. It's super easy and fast. We're going to give everybody just a few more seconds to fill in this attendance sign-in. So every year we get so excited to see so many new therapists, related service providers, educators taking an interest in the provision of assistive technology devices and services. It's great to see new names and faces, but we want you to know that we understand how overwhelming jumping into this swimming pool can be. There's a lot to learn. The field is so big and wide and vast, and it encompasses so many different disciplines, right? There are speech language pathologists, OTs, PTs, special educators, teachers for the visually impaired, psychologists, so many different people who come to the table when it comes to assistive technology. But we don't want anyone to feel stressed or overwhelmed by that. We want you to know we've got your back and you're in the right place. And so here's a link and a QR code if you're interested in downloading the slides for today. I suspect Brenda will also include this link after we're done so that you can pull them down after the webinar ends. Oh, and she's even got the link there in the chat. So I'm going to start off with what is SWAAAC? This is a great big acronym, and it has been around for over 25 years. My gosh, it's probably been more like 30 years now. But the state SWAAAC program with the university has been around for over 25 years, and it stands for StateWide Assistive Technology Augmentative Alternative Communication. And it is a little confusing, like, is it Colorado Department of Ed? Is it the university? And I'm here to tell you it's both. You're right on both accounts. The SWAAAC program is actually a contract between the Center for Inclusive Design and Engineering and the Colorado Department of Education. Some of you may be familiar with other consultants that are a part of the Exceptional Student Services Unit. So there's a consultant for speech language pathology, one for brain injury, autism, audiology, OT. Well, this contract that we have with the Colorado Department of Education establishes similar resources and consultation supports. You can think of us as that consultant for assistive technology that is part of the Exceptional Student Services Unit. So the Center for Inclusive Design and Engineering is in the College of Engineering, Design, and Computing at the University of Colorado, Denver. And you can see that once you kind of get through the doors for the center or side, there's a multitude of other projects, programs, and initiatives. And the SWAAAC program is just one of many. We also have a contract with Early Intervention Colorado. That is the Tech for Tykes program. So SWAAAC services children with disabilities 3 through 21 in the public schools, Part B, and Tech for Tykes services birth to 3. That would be Part C services. We also have a full-service outpatient clinic that specializes in assistive technology, a multitude of different academics and research programs, grants and initiatives, as well as the federal state Tech Act program. And so the Tech Act program establishes the Center for Inclusive Design and Engineering as your state assistive technology resource center. So all ages, all disabilities, and all kinds of technology. And so here is your central office SWAAAC staff. These are all the folks that work on this contract. My name is Christina Perkins, and I'm a speech language pathologist by trade. And I have been helping to coordinate the SWAAAC program for over 18 years. I'm going to go ahead and ask maybe my colleagues to introduce themselves real quickly, if that's possible. Maureen, are you there?
Yeah, hi, I'm Maureen Malonis, and I am the Associate Director here at the Center for Inclusive Design and Engineering. And I also have been on SWAAAC for 20 plus years. And I serve more as the liaison with the Department of Education. So any needs that you have in terms of messages you want to go back and forth with them, I'm happy to help with that. Claire, you want to go?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Claire Simpson. I'm an occupational therapist by training, and I have been helping Chris and Maureen coordinate the SWAAAC program for the last couple of years. Brenda?
Yes. Hi, my name is Brenda. I've been on SWAAAC for almost 3 years now, and I'm the loan library administrator, so I'm sure you'll get a lot of emails from me. I do a lot of the loan library stuff and events, so hello.
And Paige?
Hi, everyone. My name is Paige. Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. My name is Paige. I actually used to be on SWAAAC, but was moved to a different project and am now back on SWAAAC. So I'm just getting back in the swing of things, but I will be helping with some marketing and events. And I'm also familiar with the loan library and some of the different things that we do with SWAAAC. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Super. I would be remiss to also mention we have a fantastic student assistant who works with us. You'll probably eventually see email from Mazen Clapperidge. He does a lot of support for the loan library as well. If you ever need to get a hold of us, if you have questions, if there's ever anything we can do to help support your assistive technology work, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We love hearing from you. There is a link to the SWAAAC website on this slide where you will find all of our contact information. So call, email, Zoom us. We love to hear from you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what this SWAAAC program entails. As I mentioned, it is a contract, and there are 3 fundamental pillars, if you will, to that contract. The first of which is a loan library of equipment and resources. We do professional development throughout the school year, and then offer a variety of different types of technical assistance and consultation. And Claire is going to really dig into these 3 pillars here in just a moment, so we're going to keep going. So you've heard me probably say the state SWAAAC program. And so I want to delineate for just a moment the difference between the state program, which is the team that you just met, and then SWAAC teams that are happening locally at the district level. Colorado is a local control state, and so each district or BOCES has the ability to develop and determine their own processes, their own policies and procedures, and frameworks, models, and makeups for SWAAC teams at the administrative unit level, like districts or BOCES. Our program at the state level kind of operates from a top-down capacity building approach or model. We have a lot of interaction with what we call our team coordinators. And so each local district or BOCES has a team coordinator. These are the folks who are probably accessing that loan library with the most frequency. They tend to get just a little more email from us than everybody else. But these are our point people who we interact with probably the most, and rely on them to disseminate information and resources that come from us to the rest of their local teams. People always ask, what do I need to do in order to be a SWAAC member? What do I need to do to have a SWAAC team? And really, the answer is not much. It's super easy. It's really out there, like anybody can do this who's working in Colorado Public Schools. The only thing that we really ask of people is a completed SWAAC team agreement. And you can see that there is a link here. You'll get it in the handout. I would encourage you to look it over. But essentially, this team agreement just asks the district, the BOCES, to designate who their team coordinator is going to be. It asks that that team coordinator attend 2 statewide meetings a year. It asks that you commit to some professional development and staying current in the field. And it asks that people just use the loan library responsibly. And that's it. So easy. It's pretty straightforward, basic stuff. And as soon as we get that SWAAC team agreement, as far as we're concerned, you're a SWAAC team. Whether you're a team of 1 or you're a team of 6 or a team of 15. It just depends on what you and your local district or BOCES decides works best for service delivery in your area. On that team agreement, you may notice that there are lines for what we call delegates. Sometimes, for a variety of reasons, it makes sense for a local team to have more than one point person. So for districts that are very large, like Jefferson County, let's say, or Douglas County, right? They have so many students that they are providing services to. Sometimes those teams kind of break the workload up into different regions, and now there's multiple point people who are accessing the loan library. It could be if you're maybe in a rural area or you're representing a BOCES, you are servicing a very large geographical area. And now for you to take in equipment, borrowed equipment, and deliver it to somebody 150 miles away doesn't make real good sense. And so you bring in a delegate who is also capable of borrowing and returning equipment. Sometimes people ask about just membership, like how do I get to be on a SWAAC team? How do I get to be a member? And again, this is something that is locally controlled. On our website, there is a list of all the team coordinators in the state. And so I always encourage people to reach out to that team coordinator, ask about service delivery for assistive technology in the district and how to get involved. Usually it's just a matter of sending us your name and contact information and bam, you're in our registry and you are a SWAAC member. So why does the Colorado Department of Education continue to fund this program? So let's talk about that just a little bit. They continue to fund this program because there are legal mandates under IDEA. This is just one of them. For every IEP, for every student with a disability, the IEP team must consider their need for assistive technology under special factors. And there's a great deal of misinformation, misunderstanding around what that even really is. And documenting on the IEP in general, there's a lot of mystery, I feel like sometimes that swirls around it. Sometimes people tell me, well, we just check no under special factors unless that student has AAC. Or we just check no unless that student is maybe maybe has significant support needs. And so I'm here to say that consideration of a student's assistive technology needs to happen for every IEP for every student with a disability. That said, we have a state advisory committee to SWAAAC, and these are just some incredibly knowledgeable, experienced assistive technology professionals from public schools. And they decided as a group about 5 years ago that one of the best ways that we could attempt to ensure solid implementation of AT devices and services, the best way to facilitate positive student outcomes would be to try and target and ensure that everybody in the state who's working on an IEP understands that consideration process. So they spent a lot of time and effort putting together this assistive technology consideration guide. And this is something that, you know, you can follow that QR code, follow the link, and use yourself and or share with all the IEP teams that you're interacting with. It's a 2-page document that just helps to step people through that process of AT consideration. As I mentioned, there is a lot of kind of misinformation, misunderstanding around the delivery of assistive technology devices and services in public schools. But OSAP had some very firm ideas about what this really needs to look like. And they did this wonderful publication. They put this publication together. I can tell you it's not a whole lot of, you know, legalese that you might typically see from the government. It's written in plain language, and it really goes a long way to clarify and define what assistive technology devices and services should be looking like in the public schools. And it's worth a read. It really is. And, you know, it was marketed, it was pushed out, it was published, and it went everywhere. And so I encourage you to look it over and read it because, one, it's great information, but also because, you know, if you've got well-informed parents, if you have advocates coming to the table for students who've had access to this document, it's just in everybody's best interest to be coming to the table with all the same information. Okay, so we're gonna breathe for a minute. Does anybody have questions or comments? We're not a huge crowd, so if you would like to unmute your microphone, I invite you to just go ahead and speak up.
Hi, I joined a couple minutes late, so you might have already covered this. How do 504s and IEPs differ as it relates to assistive technology?
Oh, that's a great question. So, oh gosh, IDEA or special, let me say special education services are funded differently. And Maureen, correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody, correct me if I'm wrong. It's like 2 different pots of money, I believe. And it's, you know, 504s have their own rules and requirements and regulations. Oftentimes, I find that most of our AT folks are working under special education. Sometimes when students have AT needs and they're actually on a 504 plan, there can be very nice cooperation between SPED and 504. But they are kind of 2 different pots of money. Am I right about that, Maureen?
Yeah. IDEA and 504 is under the Rehabilitation Act. So it has more to do with accommodations for students with disabilities versus IDEA, which has more to do with special education. Just little different pots of money, but they both can provide assistive technology. You just can, I feel like different districts go at that a little bit differently as well.
Got it. And so are these resources available equally to students on IEPs and 504s through the school district checking it out?
In terms of the loan bank and professional development, Chris, do you restrict that at all? I don't think you do.
No, it absolutely can be. The question I think that comes about is, where does responsibility lie? Because most of our team coordinators and SWAAAC team members are funded under special education. But, you know, I think that they're usually pretty open to working with, you know, other educators who, you know, are working with students on 504s.
Okay, thanks.
We don't put any restrictions on it. It's really a district question, probably.
Okay.
Great.
I just had the question about I heard you mention in the past something about the new law for assistive technology. Is that the same thing as you're talking about this statement in the IEP, or I don't know anything about is there new law? Can you mention anything about that?
Do you mean the AT myths and facts document?
I thought in the past you just said that there was a new law about assistive technology, maybe.
Or accessibility. We have a new law in the state around accessibility. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yes, that. So can you help me with that?
Yeah,
Actually,
sure.
Go ahead,
Go
Chris.
ahead, Maureen.
No. Or Claire, I feel like you could jump into.
Yeah, sure. So July 1 was the start of new digital accessibility requirements for the state of Colorado. And what that means is any state or federally funded agencies, which school districts and universities, all of us are really a part of that group, need to ensure that any digital resources are accessible to people with disabilities and people who use assistive technology. So your school website and any educational documents that you might be creating to share with parents or with other teachers or staff, basically anything that you create that you're sharing digitally needs to be accessible, which means it needs to meet a minimum set of requirements. Things like adding alt text to your photos so that a person with a screen reader could read a description of that photo instead of looking at it visually. There's sort of a whole set of requirements that come with that. And we talk about it a lot because it's really everyone's responsibility to make sure that they are creating accessible digital materials. But a lot of our team coordinators and SWAAC members, because assistive technology is sort of implicated, I mean, the audience is assistive technology users generally. And so for that reason, a lot of our SWAAC teams have been asked by their IT departments or other groups in their schools to help with those efforts. So we try to share resources around creating accessible digital materials. We've done a couple of webinars on that. If that is something that you're looking to learn more about specifically, we could share more resources. Does that answer the question? Okay, awesome.
And I put a link to an FAQ on that new law. Even though it did go in effect last July, they did allow a grace period of 1 year for us to do all this. So that helps us all a little bit in making sure that we're completely accessible.
It's really kind of exciting for us too, because we, it's a big deal for assistive technology users who have always struggled with not being able to access a lot of digital materials using their assistive technology. And so the fact that that there's new laws and rules around it will hopefully improve digital accessibility overall. So, okay, we can move on if there's no other questions. So I'm going to walk us through what Chris called kind of our three main pillars of our SWAAAC contract and tell you about some of the resources that we work hard on to support your work. And one of those, which it sounds like a lot of people are already familiar with, is our SWAAAC Assistive Technology Loan Library. We have a loan library with over 2,400 items that school district personnel can borrow. So anyone who works in Colorado K12 public school districts or BAAACs can borrow from our SWAAAC Assistive Technology Loan Library. And most of our devices have an 8-week loan period. So you can borrow these things for 8 weeks with a week on either end for transport. These are assistive technology devices that are intended to be used to support assistive technology assessment, device trials, as well as your own professional development. So in order to borrow from this loan library, as Chris talked about, you need to know who the team coordinator is in your district or BAAACs. If that's you, if you are the team coordinator, or if you're a designated loan library delegate, then you have direct access to borrow items from the loan library. You can get in there, you can make requests, we will send them right to you. If you are not, don't worry, you still have access to all of this amazing equipment, but you'll make that request through your district's team coordinator or a loan library delegate. So you'll make those requests to them, they will request things on your behalf from us, and then they'll coordinate with you about how to get those items or materials to you wherever you're at. In order to know what you want to borrow from the loan library, we house all of the information in an online loan library catalog. We often refer to this as Alexandria. That's just the name of the software program that houses this large database. But we'll show you the SWAAAC Alexandria Loan Library. You can get in there, browse all of that. Again, 2,400 items that we have available for loan across many different categories of assistive technology. We've got low tech and no tech items all the way up to high tech tools and devices. We also have books, curricula, assessment tools, as well as digital resources that you can download right from Alexandria. So I'll pop out there and show you next. The website that you need to know, and even maybe bookmark it right now if you don't already have it bookmarked, is SWAAAC.goalexandria.com. And this is the landing page. This is what it should look like when you get there. I just want to point out a couple of important functions if you've never used this before. Search is the tool that you'll probably want to use when you come in here and you know exactly what you're looking for. So if you know, I want to borrow a NovaChat 10, I need to go see if they have that in the loan library before I ask my team coordinator. You come in here, type in NovaChat, and then you can explore. You could do NovaChat 10, explore all our different NovaChat devices. You can click on any of the titles and you'll get a picture of the device. You can click on that for a slightly larger picture. You can see a summary of the device. We try to put any important links, like if there's a link to a user manual, we try to include that. Or if there's a video of someone using this device, we might try to include that. Anything that we think would be helpful, website support, implementation resources. You can also see whether or not the device is currently available. So right now, this device is showing as checked out. This red circle and the word out indicates that. But even if something is checked out, if you're wanting to borrow it, please still make that request for a couple of reasons. That will help you get it more quickly. It'll add you to a wait list and you'll be the next person in line to receive the device. But also it helps us know when we might need to add new devices to our loan library. So if we start to build up a wait list, we typically will try to add more devices and it might help you get that more quickly than you might even expect. Another nice feature in Alexandria is this Explore feature. So if you come in here and you're not exactly sure what you're looking for, but just kind of looking to see what all we have, you can go to explore and then explore everything that we have by category. So if you're a speech language pathologist, you might be interested in this AAC category. Maybe you even know you're looking for a static display device. You can come here and scroll through all of our different static display AAC devices. One thing to know about this is it's not perfect. So it doesn't always pull everything that we might have in that category. You might sometimes notice things that might not quite fit in that category with both search and explore. And I'm just bringing this up to tell you to please, if you're ever looking for something and you can't find it with either the search or explore function, please contact us. We are very familiar with everything that we have in the loan library. So if it's just a matter of Alexandria not marking it correctly and making it difficult to find in there, then we'll help you find it. If it's not something we have in the loan library, but it's something that you need, it is very possible that it's something that other folks would need as well. And it's something that maybe we should consider adding to the loan library. So if you're ever not finding what you're looking for any of those reasons, please reach out to us and let's work together to problem solve and figure that out. Finally, we have an assisted search request form. So if you're not sure what you're looking for, or if you're not sure if there is even a device out there that would match kind of an idea that you have, the assisted search request is a great place to go. You'll fill out a quick Google form. You'll give us a little bit of information about what you're looking for. And then Chris and I both get an email when you fill out this form, and one of us will reach out to you and work with you to either find something that we have in the loan library that might meet your need, or to even look beyond our loan library for other solutions. So that's this assisted search request form, but you don't have to use that form to get our assistance or our attention. You can call us, email us anytime, and we're happy to help any of those ways. All right. I'm going to switch back to my slides here. Uh-oh. Okay. So just wanted to point out a couple of different things that we have in the library. Our literacy kits are some of our most popular items in our library, so I wanted to put a little spotlight on these. These are an incredible resource. Each literacy kit is focused on one book. So for example, the photo on the bottom of this screen is the Chicka Chicka Boom Boom literacy kit. And the box is packed with props, manipulatives, AAC devices, overlays for those AAC devices, all related to that book. So with Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, there are alphabet related props and manipulatives, ABC Elmo, there's a Go Talk with a Chicka Chicka Boom Boom overlay, a felt board, so much more. But what's really cool is every kit also has an activity guide that goes with it that walks you through, and I'll actually show you as an example, the Chicka Chicka Boom Boom activity guide. So this is going to walk you through that anchor, read, apply approach, and then give you some great ideas related to Chicka Chicka Boom Boom for vocabulary learning, reading comprehension, grammar, writing, sensory activities, alternative pencils, other activities you might look to. And so a kit full of materials plus a guide that kind of walks you through how to use those materials, or how to use other materials that you might have around you or that you can find on the web to support literacy development for students with complex communication needs. The kits themselves are amazing. I would highly encourage you to borrow one to see this for yourself, but you don't even have to borrow a kit in order to get access to those activity guides. So all of the activity guides, all of the great ideas within them are linked in Alexandria. So I'll get out of here again, show you that quick. So if we go to Alexandria, let's say we search for rainbow fish literacy kit. You'll see there's a link, activity guide, rainbow fish, and boom, there's that activity guide. So, back to my slides here. Won't make you watch me scroll through all those slides again. Okay. Definitely check out those activity guides, kind of preview the kits, get some activity ideas, or maybe recreate some of those activities yourself. We also have been working hard on creating new literacy kits with titles that are intended for older students. So titles that are commonly read in middle and high school curriculums. And kind of the kits of those props and manipulatives and activity ideas to go along with those books. So we have a literacy kit for The Giver. We have one for Wonder. And I think, is it Charlotte's Web is the other complete one? Okay. And then we're working on Hatchet. We're working on I Am Malala. So more to come for the literacy kits for if you work with middle or high school students. One note about those kits for older students, there are some titles in Alexandria that are just not quite complete yet. So if you are searching for those, you might notice some titles that are still under construction. But the ones, again, the ones that are completed, The Giver, Wonder, and Charlotte's Web would be good ones to start with for older students. Okay, you can also borrow digital resources and then digital adapted books from the Loan Library. Our adapted books are PowerPoint or Google Slides versions of many of our popular books, many popular books. Most of them are picture books. We basically take a page from each book, we put it onto a slide in PowerPoint or Google Slides, and that way students can access those books on an iPad, on a tablet, on a computer, using an alternate access method like a switch. So they could turn the pages of that book with their switch. Many of our adapted books are narrated, so they could even have the book read aloud to them using that switch. And then we also have several of these adapted books in a CVI version. So they have that different color scheme, contrast scheme to them as well. If you want to borrow an adapted book, there is the process is similar to requesting other items, but there is a form that you will sign stating that you already own a copy of that book, or that your school has a physical copy of that book. That's just copyright law. But once you agree that you have that you own that book already, we send you that PowerPoint or that Google Slides file, and then that's yours to keep. So you don't have to return that like you do other things in the Loan Library. We also have kind of a subset of items in our Loan Library. We call this our Assisted Listening Loan Library, and these are devices that are available to borrow by school district audiologists. So these are things like receivers, transmitters, other assisted listening devices that kind of require that specialized knowledge and skill set of an audiologist. And this requires a separate team agreement with that audiologist on there, but they can do a semester-long loan for this equipment. So I don't know if we have any audiologists on here today. I don't think I saw any in the chat in the beginning, but if we do, we definitely encourage you to borrow. We just got a bunch of new SWAAAC and Oticon equipment. We got really great guidance from the audiology consultants at CDE. So some really exciting new updates to this library. If you're not an audiologist, but maybe you work closely with the audiologist in your district, please make sure to share this information. Just make sure that they are aware of this resource and encourage them to get in contact with us so that they can utilize this loan library as well. Okay, so we have 2,400 items in the Loan Library. We are constantly adding new things. How can you stay up to date with what is available in the Loan Library? We do a couple of different monthly communications that are intended to help you kind of keep up with that, or maybe to just put something in your inbox that sparks, ooh, I want to try that, or I want to borrow that. And so one of these is our monthly Loan Library Spotlight email. So we send you an email that contains a link to an item, a photo of that item, a description, some implementation ideas, maybe who might benefit from using this item. And on the screen here, just a few examples of some of our past Spotlight items. Last month, we did that literacy kit for older students on The Giver. Last spring, we did a collection of our switch adapted bubble blowers. And then we did the Remarkable tablet, the Oddball, and the Go Talk Fit, just to give you an idea of kind of some of the range of devices that we try to highlight. So make sure that you are on our email list so that you're receiving these emails. We also do a monthly Hidden Gems email each month. These are items that are immediately available for loan. These are those items that when we walk through our loan library and we look at the shelf, we say, why is this on the shelf and not being borrowed right now? And then we send it out in our Hidden Gems to make sure somebody snatches it up. Typically, we do 5 to 10 items, and we've started kind of picking items from a particular category. So last month, we did high-tech AAC devices that were immediately available for loan. A few times a year, we look at everything that we have in the loan library and we decide what can we let go of. So we try to surplus devices maybe that are a little bit older, maybe devices that are a little outdated, no longer available for purchase. So for that reason, they're not really great trial devices, or maybe they're just not circulating. Nobody's borrowing them. So, but maybe they would be useful to you. So if you are trying to build up your own loan library for your district, or if you have a student really benefiting from a particular device, we compile everything that we are looking to get rid of into a Google survey. We send that out by email. And then after that, it's pretty much just first come, first serve. So try to hop on that survey as quickly as you can when you see that we are doing a round of surplus. We are currently running an audiology surplus. So another plug for that audiology loan library. We only have 6 participating audiologists, and we have a lot of devices that we are surplusing right now. So again, just a great time to come on board with us as an audiologist. All right, in addition to managing the loan library, we are also available to you for technical assistance and consultation. Again, you can request assistance searching the loan library using that assisted search request form in Alexandria, but you can also call or email us anytime. We can schedule a Zoom call anytime. This is intended, we can act as a sounding board for you if you need someone to bounce your ideas off of. We can help you explore the loan library or beyond the loan library for AT that you might consider trying to meet your needs. We can also help troubleshoot issues with devices, especially devices from our loan library. If it is not working the way that you expect it to, please contact us right away so we can troubleshoot that with you. And then we can also support your evidence-based practice and research of best practices related to assistive technology devices and services. One of the really nice things about us being housed in the university is that we have access to all of the university's databases. So if you ever come across an article that you want to read that you're having trouble accessing, or if there's a certain topic that you needed help doing a little evidence search on, we are happy to help with that. And I just want to point out our evidence-based practice page on our website. This is one way we just kind of try to get ahead of these requests, is we've compiled a lot of the evidence around several different topics related to assistive technology. So for AAC and modeling, you can see several different papers on this topic. we typically provide the title and the abstract. But again, if you are looking through this and there's something in particular that you want to read, reach out to us and we'll get you access to that article. Okay. And then we plan professional development opportunities throughout the year. Mostly these are free opportunities and mostly they're virtual. So really great ways to earn some professional development hours, to learn a little bit about kind of current best practices related to the provision of assistive technology devices and services in the school setting. And then I will tell you in the next few slides about some of our upcoming PD. So this Friday is the Colorado Assistive Technology Expo from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Conference Center at Adams 12. This is probably our only fully in-person event this year. So a really great opportunity to get some of that good in-person interaction that we've all been craving these last few years. We have 28 vendor reps coming and they will each have a booth showcasing their devices and services. So just a great opportunity to meet the vendor reps, try their devices hands-on, and talk with them. We are also hosting a special SWAAC lunch and roundtables event at the expo. So from 11:30 to 1:30, there will be kind of a separate space for SWACers to meet up. So bring your own lunch, come and connect and collaborate with your colleagues from districts across the state to discuss important topics related to your work. All right, our fall training will be October 8th. We have Tiffany Zog, who is an excellent, well-known trainer in the field of educational assistive technology. She'll be presenting Crafting and Discovering Wonders, a fun journey in creating materials, unearthing resources, and harnessing assistive technology for science and social studies. This training is, again, Tuesday, October 8th, 1 to 4:30. It will be by Zoom. If you're interested in attending this webinar, please register by September 24th. And then we've got a few upcoming monthly webinars. We've got Eye Gaze and CVI, Efficient Access to Robust Communications. That'll be with Jennifer Clark on September 26th, but their registration deadline is tomorrow. So maybe somebody can throw the link to registration for this in the chat in case anybody wants to register right now because the deadline is tomorrow. So get on that one if you're interested. On November 6th, Sandy Rubino and Robin Leonard will be telling us about those literacy kits for older students. And on October 29th, we'll have some folks from CDE who will be talking about AT assessment accommodations and CMAS. On November 13th, I'll be presenting a webinar on iPad accessibility. And you can always find all of these details, dates, times, registration links for upcoming events on our SWAAC events webpage. So that's linked on this slide and it's on our website. So that's the best place to go for all of that information. We also record most of our webinars and trainings, and then we post them on our SWAAC YouTube channel, typically within a week of the event. So if you ever miss a training that you really wanted to attend, you can catch it on our YouTube channel. Just wanted to point out a few recorded webinars that might be of particular interest to anyone who is newer to SWAAC, and those are listed on this slide. So getting to know the Loan Library is a deep dive into all things related to the Loan Library. So our Loan Library administrators, Brenda and Ashley, put this webinar on every year. They tell you all about how to search Alexandria, how to request items, how to use the courier system to receive and send your items, and all of those details. So if you're newer to using the Loan Library, definitely a webinar to watch, and or just contact Brenda and work together on using the Loan Library. She offers office hours as well, and is happy to work with anybody one-on-one to get you set up with all of that. Chris presented a whole webinar a few years back all about our literacy kits. So that's available on our YouTube channel if you're new to those literacy kits. And then just recently, a few of our seasoned SWAAC team coordinators presented a webinar all about documenting assistive technology on the IEP. So if you're looking to learn more about that topic, that is new to the SWAAC YouTube channel. All right, any questions on all of that information? And also, have you signed in yet? Thanks everyone for those links in the chat. All right, well, feel free to unmute or throw questions in the chat as we continue on here. I'm going to hand it back over to Chris.
All right, so let's get a look at some other helpful resources that you may not be aware of to help you stay up to date and in the know. SWAAC has a social media presence. We're on Facebook and Instagram. We try to post most days through the week, Monday through Friday. This is just a few examples of some of the content that you might expect to see on our Facebook and Instagram. We like to post when we have new equipment coming into the Lone Library. We post about upcoming activities and events, registrations, registration deadlines. And then when we just see something really cool and interesting that we think you all might be interested in, we'll share it out and post it up there as well. Over the summer, we were posting a series on accessible and inclusive playgrounds. Recently, we posted about the change from Tar Heel to the Monarch Reader. We'll probably post up about the transition from the SWAAC list or from the quiet list to a new hosting organization. So that's coming. I'm sure that'll go up as well. And then as Claire mentioned, we also have a YouTube channel. So keep an eye and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Something that we do for our team coordinators are statewide meetings. This is one of those things that people who attend always walk away so appreciative of the opportunity to have face time with other professionals who are delivering AT services in the public schools. So if you are a team coordinator, if you're new to that role, or if you're not new to that role, I would strongly encourage you to RSVP and attend these team coordinator meetings. We do meet in person on the Anschutz campus in Aurora, but we also offer a virtual option. So if you're on the Western Slope, no problem, we got you. This is an all-day meeting and just packed full of great information. Here are a few examples of items that are currently on the fall agenda. We will be talking a little bit about changes to that audiology library. AT and artificial intelligence is a very hot topic right now. And so we are currently in the process of collecting up information, resources, and resources to support evidence-based practice as it relates to artificial intelligence. So we'll probably spend a little bit of time touching on that. We have a few guest speakers that we're putting on the agenda, one of which is iRespond and the Hebrew camera. If you're unfamiliar with Hebrew, those are the cameras that are on a great many of our eye gaze AAC devices. So some good information from them. We also make this a conversation, right? Like when we have these meetings, it's a discussion. And so this is the opportunity to talk about what you need, what is relevant to you in your work, in your district. Let's talk about relevant professional development. What do you need? What can we bring to the schedule that will most benefit you? And then for our fall meeting, we have a collection of really knowledgeable team coordinators, mostly from larger districts, who are going to talk to everyone about the successes they're having training their staff to do a better job documenting AT on the IP. So that's a huge issue. And this is just a great opportunity to share some of those strategies and successes. Every month, usually at the beginning of the month, we'll send out what we're calling a monthly digest. And really what this is kind of a look backwards at the previous month. And it's a collection of those highlights and features that happened sporadically throughout the previous month. So we'll put our top performing social media posts together along with upcoming events, the information that you received or was posted about new items to the loan library, that will go into the digest. We'll include new YouTube videos that have been posted to the SWAAAC channel, all together amongst other things too, a little bit here and a little bit there, all together in this monthly digest. And the SWAAAC website is just a fantastic resource that is a static, constant go-to. You can always find contact information, not just for us at the central office, but for team coordinators across the state. We have compiled a web page that we call SWAAAC Foundations. So for folks who are just kind of starting their journey in assistive technology and public education, we have curated a page that is just loaded with web-based resources around topics like AT assessment, documenting AT on the IP, AT and transition, providing accessible educational materials, all together on one page so that all of our new folks can consume that foundational information at their convenience. You will also find all of our upcoming SWAAC events. You'll find information about the loan library, linked to the library. We've got FAQs up there. And as Claire just showed us, there's this terrific page on evidence-based practice. We also now have an email listserv. And this listserv is closed. It is only available to Colorado Public School K12 service providers, and it is intended to be a safe place for people to ask questions, to get ideas from other assistive technology providers in the state. And so here's just a small collection, a few examples of recent questions that have been posted to this list. The QR code and the link there, if you're interested in joining that list, we would love to have you. More minds are better. Something else that we've started doing, because we believe in the value of conversation and discussion among networked colleagues, is roundtables. And you can kind of think of this as office hours. They're very informal. However, we do tend to put some topic focus on it. So we've been doing what we call rural roundtables because we recognize that people who are working in rural areas have kind of their own special challenges, strategies, processes that are a little different than people who are working in urban or suburban areas. And so we have a couple rural roundtables on the calendar. We've also had people asking about a roundtable for service delivery. We've got a lot of new folks who are working in the role of team coordinator. And so this is going to be an opportunity for folks new to the role to have a space at the table with some of our more seasoned, experienced team coordinators. And then we just want to make sure everyone is aware of the CATE conference, the Conference for Assistive Technology and Education. This is that virtual 2-day conference. We work really hard to bring in some fantastic nationally recognized trainers, but we also place priority on all of you because all of you are doing great work, really creative, out-of-the-box thinking. You've developed processes, procedures that the rest of our SWAAC membership are very interested in hearing about. And so we are very shortly going to be releasing the call for presentations. And I want to encourage everyone to think about what it is that's going really well right now with AT in your district. Do you have a student that's just performing beautifully and learning their technology? And how did that happen? Was there some strategy that you used to get everybody at the table, to get that buy-in? What was it that fueled that success? Let's share that at the CATE conference. And then one last opportunity, if you haven't yet, please make sure that you sign in so that we can get you your certificate of attendance. And I know we're like just a minute or two over. Any last questions or comments? I hope everybody has heard something new, discovered some new resources, feels confident that you're going to find the support that you need to get going on your AT journey. Feel free to unmute.
Thank you. Loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'll hang out for just another minute or two in case you want to continue a conversation.